Hi everybody, welcome to the review. Today's review is based off of one of my favorite shows, and I know there's a lot of people who are very familiar with it. What sold me on the show before even watching it was I remember a lot of critics and fans talking about it's a serial killer who hunts serial killers, and I just remember thinking, okay, I am sold. By far, this I don't need anything else. I don't need any other details in order to sell me on this concept. And I remember buying the seasons 1 through 4, and watching them and being completely mesmerized by the concept. And when you think about it, serial killers have always been portrayed as more of an antagonistic role, whether it's your video games, your literature, or your films, or your TV series. And obviously, serial killers that exist have been portrayed and some of them are quite evil, if you will. But to have a serial killer that has a moral code was something that allowed me to be that much more interested within the concept that's being presented on the screen. The show that I'm talking about, and I know you guys are well aware of it, is Dexter. Season 4 of Dexter is by far the most perfect literal form of television that exists in this art form, this medium. And I remember when I watched this season, I binged it all the way through because it literally is perfect. I can't stress enough how monumentally impressive it is to have a series like this that hits on all cylinders by all accounts. And when after season 4, you feel like, especially at what came afterwards, is so disappointing because you just know that in your head there's this level of anticipation as you want to believe that once a level of perfection is reached, that perhaps they could carry on with that momentum with future seasons. But you just know, but that it leaves you let down because you know in your heart of hearts that it cannot happen. That level, that type of magic only happens once. I mean, there are certain shows and films that happen that are released where they manage to still carry on with that momentum. Shows like The Shield, Breaking Bad, Angel, Sons of Anarchy to a certain extent. But to have it's such a rare phenomenon. And Dexter season 4, just man, when that fourth season hits, and even afterwards, I truly believe this is where, looking back on it now in hindsight, I believe this is where they should have stopped. This is where they should have stopped because it's just, where do you go? Where do you go from there? Once you reach that level of stratosphere where everything has hit on all cylinders as far as the creative process, the acting, the writing, the atmosphere, the character development. Once you reach that level, there's nowhere to go but down, in my opinion. And Dexter, after season 4, really just went off the rails, unfortunately. Season 4 is Dexter attempted to still maintain a sense of family life while also continuing his activities as a serial killer who's hunting the vermin that exist in Miami, Florida, the Everglades, if you will. Unfortunately for him, there's a new serial killer in town, but is that much more worse than him. Is known as a Trinity Killer, who is creepily played by John Lithgow. John Lithgow, for all intents and purposes, my exposure to him came from a lot of family comedies and came from Third Rock from the Sun. And I just remember this thinking, oh my God, when I watched him play this role of Arthur, the Trinity Killer, it chilled me to the bone. I mean, he all the praise that he received for his performance is absolutely deserved. I mean, just he literally personified everything that was vile, creepy, while maintaining that sense of cover as a family man who, for all intents and purposes, that is what makes serial killers that much more somewhat interesting, but yet frightening at the same time, is how quite a few of them have that perfect character, that perfect charade, where they look and seem well-meaning. Someone that you could pass by the street and you would never know their sinister motivations that live within the very confines of their soul. And Dexter, how I view season 4 of Dexter, between Dexter Morgan and Arthur the Trinity Killer, is how it's a much more demented, sinister version of Sherlock Holmes and Professor James Moriarty. How there's a level of respect and sensibility between the two characters, but at the same time, you have one that is dedicated to. I don't want to view Dexter and Sherlock Holmes as complete mirror images of one another, because they're two different type of characters. But you have one that is attempted to eliminate vermin. You have one that exists and is complete vermin, and it's just it's one of those type of character depictions where it's very hard to compare the two, but at the same time, there is a level of similarities between those specific characters. With Dexter in this particular season, with him attempting to maintain his family life and the character development that exists with him, Rita, and the children, and you have the Trinity Killer who also has his family as a cover. It's just you find yourself being interested, excited, and that much more drawn in their worlds. And season 4 of Dexter, from beginning to end, is perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. When I watched it, I just remember watching it one episode after another because I couldn't stop. I was hooked, and the ending of the season 4 is one of the most tragic and dark endings of all time. And I know why they continued it because I felt like ending it on that note leaves you downtrodden, and perhaps they felt, well, we ended it there, there's going to be not much more complaints. But at the same time, looking at it now, you have to be able to appreciate it for what it is. And after season 4, then I get to season 5, and season 5 is just it was okay. Then season 6 was somewhat of a step in the right direction. Then we're not even going to talk about season 7, season 8 because that's a whole nother story, and I don't want to relive that type of torment ever again. I know that might sound exaggerated, but man, season 4 of Dexter is one of the greatest forms of television that truly define what television art is supposed to be. It's supposed to be entertaining and challenging and allow you to be that much more heavily invested emotionally with the character. And just season 4 of Dexter, 2 thumbs up, a 5 out of 5, perfect from beginning to end. Seriously, anyone who has not watched the season, I mean, obviously, before you watch the season, you have to watch season 1, season 2, season 3, and before you get to season 4 in order to fully understand the characters and the storyline. But seriously, anyone who has not watched the series, I will say this: Dexter, season 1, 2, 3, and 4, amazing. 5 and 6, decent, step in the right direction. 7 and 8, no. If you want my honest opinion, once you get to season 4 of Dexter, after you finish it, just stop. Because after that, it really completely goes off the rails. There's nothing against Michael C. Hall. And it's nothing against Jennifer Carpenter. It's nothing against any of those actors and actresses and the characters that they portray, and other characters and other actors that played their specific characters in the show. Nothing against them at all. It's just once it's to the point of where you know that type of magic is never going to be realized again, usually it's best to just stop. And Dexter season 4 should have been the last season. Just the chemistry between Michael C. Hall and John Lithgow, and the characters that they portray, and how everything comes full circle within this season is just, man, love it from beginning to end. I mean, I know I'm sounding repetitious here, but please, I do recommend it. Obviously not for children, but when you do watch it, please let me know what you thought about it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about it. Provide a like. Let me know on my Facebook what you thought. That's my review of season 4 of Dexter. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you guys will be hearing from me again. Take care, and peace out.